Hey everyone! I know it's been a little bit of time since I've made a video, probably about 2 months or maybe a little bit over that, but I needed to take a break really bad. It's been a long time working on making this video. I've wanted to make this video for probably a month, and I don't even think I was ready a month ago to come back and be active on YouTube again, but I thought I was, and obviously I wasn't. I've been gathering my thoughts for about a month now about what I wanted to say and what I wanted to share. I'm gonna make the video as short as I possibly can. I just wanted to give you a heads up on where I've been over the last 2 months, what I've been doing with my decks and Oracle and Tarot and all that stuff. I wanted to show you a couple of the decks that I bought right before I took a big break, and I wanted to give you an update on the workshop that I'm doing with Racine from Owl Moon 513. We all love her. And yeah, so anyways, so probably for the past 6 months or so, I'd say maybe at the end of January, I've been having some issues at my job. I've worked at a travel center for about 9 years. I started there when I was 16, so it's been a long time. I started at the bottom and I worked myself up, and it was a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication. I really enjoyed my job. I started just as a part-time cashier actually, and I worked myself up to become a supervisor, and then I was manager of the smallest department, and then probably about 3 years ago I became a pretty significant manager of a large department. I was the store manager there, so I was so proud of myself when I made that accomplishment. It was amazing, but also I never really thought that I would be there that long, and there's a lot of things that I wanted to do with my life by this point in my life that I haven't even done yet or tried to plan. You know, like going to school and stuff. Like, I was 16 when I started this job, and about a year and a half later I quit school to work at this job full time, and there's a lot of reasons. Because of other decisions in my life, I had to make the decision, because of other poor decisions, I had to make the decision to leave school in order to work full time, in order to support myself. So I was just scared to move away from that and to go back to what I really wanted to do and accomplish. So when I started working with Oracle cards and tarot, mostly Oracle, well, that's how I started, and that's what I feel more comfortable with still. When I was on my break, I didn't really do too much with tarot, to be honest with you. Right before I took a break, I was like, there's no point in waiting to do tarot, to learn tarot, so I'm just gonna do it now. Like, why not, right? A week or two later was when I took my break. I've just kind of come back into it within the last month, like personally doing cards again, and I've only studied, used my book to study the tarot a few times since then. So I'm not really tarot knowledgeable yet, but I have been working with Oracle cards a lot, specifically one deck, the Messenger cards by Sandra Coons. I'm sure you guys all know, and that's the workshop that Racine posted on her YouTube channel. And unfortunately, it was a week and a half, maybe 2.5 weeks, somewhere in there, after the workshop started, that I actually took the break that I wasn't planning on taking. So I actually decided to stop the workshop at that point because there was other things in my life that I really needed to take care of, like my job and moving towards things that I want to do and accomplish. So, but it was actually that deck and that workshop, those first couple weeks that I was doing the workshop, and a little bit before when I was using the cards, but once I got into the workshop, it really hit me because I was journaling a lot and really digging deep, because the workshop is really self-love centered and themed, and I was really digging deep inside me. I just realized that I don't need this crap. It's fucking bullshit crap that I don't need to deal with anymore, and why am I putting myself in this position every day? Why am I hating my life every day? When I think about work, all of a sudden I'm stressed. I have a nervous pit in my stomach. I just feel absolutely terrible. I was being treated unfairly. I was being disrespected. It was just unfortunate. And you know, it really sucks because I had a great sense of home and belonging. I mean, I had worked there for so long and I really, really did love my job. I really, really, really loved it. And it really made me upset that it came to that. But to be honest with you, I think it needed to come to that, or else I wouldn't have done anything. I was so comfortable where I was, and that's why I had stayed for so long and didn't do anything. I was afraid to find another job. I was afraid to go to school. I couldn't go to school and support myself. I was afraid of how that was going to happen. So I never ever worked towards it. So, like I said, I was working with the deck and working on the workshop with the cards and doing a lot of journaling, and I realized that I have the power to make changes in my life, and I don't need to put myself through something that's making me unhappy, especially when I have desires and that thing is holding me back from doing what I want to accomplish in my life. So at this point, I started looking for jobs. And I shouldn't say that I started. I mean, I was looking for jobs for probably the last 6 months since the end of January, but I wasn't really fully committed to it. I was comfortable and I knew that I was scared. And now I'm realizing that. So I started really looking for jobs, like actually putting effort into it. And I had messaged a friend and they worked at a hotel, and that was the only person I could really think of in this area that I knew was in a management position somewhere. I really needed to just move on. No matter what it was, I needed to move on, and I was worried, and I knew that there was going to be struggles that would come along with the decision I would make, but I knew in the end that it would make me so much happier. So I messaged my friend about an opening at the hotel that he works at, and unfortunately there was no openings, but he's like, send me your resume, I'm gonna pass it along. You know, you never know when something's gonna come up. They may even have something that I don't know about, so pass along your resume to me and I will give it to my boss, and we'll, you know, make something happen in the future if we can't make it happen now. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I tweaked my resume a little bit, I sent that to him, and then it's really, really funny because the next day he sent me a message and said that one of their full-time staff members had put in their 2-week notice. I couldn't believe it when he sent me that message. I was like, wow, it just all seemed to be lining up. It was such a crazy feeling. And then I'm like, okay, now I actually have to do something now. I have to make decisions, and you know, I'm at that point and where I want to go that I need to make decisions and decide which way I'm going to go and how I'm going to go about going that way. But I wasn't too worried yet because I hadn't even gotten an interview at this point. So, I mean, I was getting a little bit ahead of myself, but it all just seemed to be, you know, working in my favor. So I had my hopes up, you know what I mean? But I still knew that it was going to be really hard. So the next day, he calls me and he's like, so can you come in for an interview today at 3 o'clock? And I'm like, yes, I totally can. I'm actually off of work today. What? I was off work, and they worked me like crazy there. And I was off work, which never happens. And it just worked out perfectly that I could go to the interview. It was amazing. So I go to the interview, and it went really, really, really well. I was really, really happy with the bosses that I met with, and the questions that they asked me and the conversations that we had. Like, it just went really, really well. So I was really excited, and I'm like, I'm gonna get this. Well, I don't have a car, so I had to take the bus home. So that took about an hour, let's say an hour. So literally 5 minutes after I walked into the door, I got a phone call, and they offered me the job. Of course, right away I was like, yes, of course I want the job, right? But I knew that I could back out if I really had to back out. I didn't want to, but I really needed to think things over. So I spent the whole rest of that day crying like a baby. I mean, it was a really, 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 really hard decision for me to make. Just the level of attachment that I had to my job. I mean, sure, they treated me like crap. They expected way too much of me. I had no life. I was working 60 hours a week sometimes. I was getting called in when I, had only 2 hours of sleep or no sleep. It was just unmanageable, But putting all that aside, all the people and all the friends that I had made over that time, it was just really hard. It was a really hard decision for me. Well, I decided to take the job. I put in my notice the next day. That was hard too. I mean, once I had decided that that's what I was going to do, then comes the next step, right? And that wasn't any easier. I thought the hard part was over, but it wasn't. I still needed to give my notice and tell my boss. I spent the next morning typing up my resignation letter, and I really had to put a lot of thought into it because I had a good position there and I had been there for a long time. My whole adult life I was there. I really needed a good reference from them. I didn't want to screw that up, so I spent a lot of time typing up my resignation letter. I went into work, I brought my letter, and my boss wasn't there. And I needed to put my notice in that day in order to start the job. So my boss was off that day, and then that was a Friday, so she was off all weekend as well. I had worked, I think, on the Saturday, and then had the Sunday off. And then I came back in on Monday, and obviously she wanted to talk to me. I was in my office, and she sent me a message on my phone saying, please come up and see me. So, and before this, I had sent her an email saying, hey, I just wanted to let you know you're not here today, but I want you to make sure that you get this today. And I attached my resignation letter to an email, and I sent that to her. So she had known probably all weekend, but she didn't say anything to me or call me or anything like that. So on Monday, I go into work. I'm probably there for maybe 20 minutes in my office, getting things ready, after the weekend, doing all the stuff that I need to do regularly on a Monday or any day. She sent me the message after 15 minutes or so, so I go up there to her office, and, she's asking me about, why, and I told her that I just needed a change and I needed to move forward in my life, which wasn't a lie. And I think that I needed to take a step back in order to move forward because the job was really holding me back from being able to do what I wanted to do. I couldn't go to school because I would get called in. I couldn't go with my friends to the beach because I would get called in, or I was always working. I couldn't even have a life. So I told her all that, and then she asked me some questions about, the staff, my staff, and who did this and blah, 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 all this work-related stuff. And, I answered her questions and everything. And then when she was done with that, she handed me a letter and told me that I had to leave. And then I went home. And that was a really sad day because I wasn't expecting to go home. Anyway, so that was it. That was my experience there. Very sad, very quick. And then obviously I took a job at a hotel that I wasn't a manager at, so I had a very, very large pay cut. And that was also part of the decision that I had to make when I was crying like crazy, that was part of it. And I just realized that money isn't everything, and I'm worth way more than money. So that was really hard. I'm sorry if I'm rambling and if I'm saying the same stuff over again. It's just this video is really hard to make, and I could have sat down for another year and wrote down all the things I wanted to talk about, but I feel like I just needed to sit down and start talking. I knew that I would never do it if I didn't just sit down and do it. I would never feel ready. So I needed to just get it over with. So I got the job at the hotel. I was supposed to be a night auditor working the midnight shift 5 days a week. And then somebody else that had worked there for longer, obviously, that didn't just start, was like, hey, that position's open. I really want that position, after they had already hired me for the position. So it was kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing. I was still going to be doing midnights every once in a while. Actually, I'm doing them once well, 2 shifts a week I'm doing nights, and then the other 3 shifts are a little different all the time. But so it's better that I'm not working nights all the time. But it kind of sucks that I don't have a straight shift. But it's all gonna work out for the best, I think. So I took a big pay cut. It's been rough with the finances, dealing with all of that, and bills and rent, and you know how it goes, and all these fears that I had about leaving my job to begin with, that I've had for years, are kind of a reality. But it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So I'm dealing with it. I obviously took some time off because I needed to do some emotional healing, but I'm still going through it. It's still not easy. It's only been a couple months since I've been working at the new place, so it's been hard. I'm still trying to catch up, so I guess that's my struggle right now, is with money. So I'm just doing the best I can at my job, and I'm looking into programs and stuff to further my school, so it's all gonna be good. So anyways, I want to show you the few decks that I bought, because I knew that I wasn't gonna have any money, because literally my pays have been cut almost 50%, which is a lot. So it's really hard. But I knew that I wasn't gonna have a lot of money, so I spent some money out of one of my last paychecks from the old job, and I bought 2 decks because they were on my wish list, and I bought 3 decks. I wanted to get something to make me feel a little bit better, because the card decks make me feel better, and I wanted to make sure that I could get something for myself, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that for myself for a while. So I'm going to show you the decks that I got then. The first deck that I got, well, actually I ordered all 3 of them together. They showed up, within days of each other. So one of the decks that I got was the Halloween Oracle. And I know it was May when I got the deck, maybe the beginning of June. And I know that that's not even close to Halloween. It's kind of like you want to use it on Halloween, and it's kind of a little bit off if you use it different times of the year, but I still like it to use it anytime. I mean, some of the images in here, I'm just going to show you a couple. So this is the back. It's kind of a little cheesy, actually, if you ask me, but I don't mind it. It's okay. So I mean, this is more of the Halloween-y style cards that we have in here. Graveyard. And it's almost a little witchy too, but not cheesy witchy. It's funny because the backs of the cards are super, super cheesy, but the actual images on the cards are actually really awesome. And that's one of the reasons why I bought the deck, was because of the images, and the keywords and the titles of the cards were something that I hadn't seen before. Obviously this one here, the Mummy, I wouldn't see that in any other deck except for something with this kind of theme. There are other cards, like, I guess Midnight would be a card. We have the Witch. And even this one, like, this doesn't need to be in a Halloween deck, and I'm sure there's other Oracle decks that have Joy, obviously. But, like, look at that image. It's gorgeous. I just love it so much. And to be honest with you, I bought these decks without the intention of, like, I'm going to work with this deck now, or I'm going to work with this deck, on this day, or, within a month, or something like that. I just bought them because I knew I wasn't going to be able to buy them. So, to be honest with you, I haven't really worked with this deck. This is the first time I've flipped through it in about a month or so. This one's awesome. Yeah, maybe I'll work with that in August. Because I'm definitely more into the oracles right now, because I took a big break from both, but I kept drawing oracle cards and doing journaling. So I stopped with the tarot because I knew in the space that I was in, I wasn't going to be able to do it. So, like, this one is beautiful. So anyways, that is the Halloween Oracle, and sorry, that is by Stacy DeMarco. The other 2 decks that I bought were tarot decks, and at this point I wasn't sure if I was going to be taking a break, but I knew I wouldn't have money, right? So that's why I bought them. So honestly, I haven't worked with them at all. Actually, at the beginning of my break, I did continue to learn the tarot. Like, I still studied it a little bit. I did a couple lessons in the Tarot 101 book. I didn't actually do that for very long. It was probably a week and a half, and then I stopped. So I decided when I was using that book, and I'm going to continue to do that now. I've been doing it for the past week or so, back on learning tarot again. Probably every other day or every third day. I've been actually doing the lessons from the book, but I've been using the same images, like when I'm studying a card and the meanings and stuff like that, and doing the lessons in the book featuring one card. I'm pulling from like 3 decks, sometimes more, just comparing them and seeing the difference in the cards. And it's funny because this new tarot perspective experience that everybody is raving about, that Kelly from The Truth in Story is doing. I'll link her below. And in the 78 cards, I'm sorry I don't remember his name, but I'll link his channel below as well. Get into that because that's awesome. But before that challenge even happened, I was, comparing cards while I was learning the tarot too, and I think it was awesome. It was such a great way for me to learn the cards because, I could use a deck's theme that I really liked, and I would use that deck because I just like the theme and I like the images and stuff like that. And then I could use something more traditional like the Rider-Waite or a Rider-Waite knockoff that uses those same principles. So I got this next deck because I don't know if I should say hate, but I'm not fond of the Rider-Waite deck. I have it, but I don't really like the images, and that's the main issue with me. But when you're learning tarot, you really have to expect that everybody is going to relate everything to that. So I knew I had to get it, so I did get it. I think I've shown it to you guys in my other video, my Tarot and Timbits video. But it's great because I can use decks like that and compare it to more modern decks, right? But to be honest, I really don't like the Rider-Waite deck anyways, so I bought something similar to it so that I could maybe like the images a little bit more, but still learn off of a deck that is based off the Rider-Waite. I got this deck, and it is the dun 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 Tarot Illuminati. Woo! Look at how shiny it is. This comes with it. It's just a little book here, 150 or so pages. And it's great because it has the card images in color. So that's awesome. But I haven't really read this book or even read the introduction or anything because I haven't really been studying, right? But I did pull a couple cards when I was comparing. Like I said, the only reason I got this deck was because I needed something Rider-Waite-Smith that wasn't Rider-Waite-Smith because I couldn't really stand the images. Sometimes I'll still compare to that deck too. I wanted something a little bit more vibrant, and so I got this one. And I'm sure you guys all know it's a very popular deck. I had to be in on it. A few images here. But it's like a mixture of like computer generated, collaged on top of drawings. And that's not typically the style that I go for. But like I said, I wanted something that was kind of like the Rider-Waite. And it really is just a clone. Like if we look here at Justice, like it's pretty much the same thing. It just looks better. I mean, let's compare. Let me get Justice out here for a second. See, and my Rider-Waite deck is special because it's in this little pentacle box. Let me find Justice for you. Okay, so we have Justice. So this is Rider-Waite. And this is Illuminati. So if you see them side by side, they're the same, but this one looks prettier. So yeah, that's why I got the Tarot Illuminati. Moving on. So the next deck I got, it's a little bit of a weird reason as to why I got it. And that is the Ghost Tarot. Is it just the Ghost Tarot? I think it's just the Ghost Tarot. I threw the box out, but I do have this card, so it is the Ghost Tarot. And that is by David Corsi. Comes with the little white book, which I have not read either. And it's fairly small. It's the only other deck that I have that has a little white book other than the Rider-Waite one. It is pretty small. There's only 16 pages in English. But that's what you get with the little white book. But the reason why I got this deck was because I really like ghosts, and I talk about this in my Oh My God Oracle Decks Galore video. There's a deck I have called the Sacred Geometry Oracle, and I got that because it was featured on the show Ghost Whisperer, and Ghost Whisperer is one of my favorite shows in the whole entire world. So I had to have a ghost deck, and I haven't seen any ghost oracle decks, so if you know any good ones, let me know in the comments, because that would be something that I would buy in a heartbeat. I don't know if I should do that right now, but I'll put it on my list. My list has been growing since I've been back watching YouTube videos. There was 2 ghost decks that I was kind of interested in, and I'm not sure if there's too many more tarot ones, but this one was just the Ghost Tarot, and there's another one called the Ghost and Spirit Tarot, and I have it open on my screen here. It was by Lisa Hunt. So and I love the images on that card. I'm looking at them now for the first time since I bought this deck, when I decided which one I'm gonna get, and I'm kind of like, oh, I should have got this deck, but I really like both of them. And they're both completely different styles, but they are both ghost related, so it's pretty cool. So, and I haven't even used this deck. I've looked through it and I've shuffled it, but I haven't actually used it. I haven't used it to compare. I haven't done anything with it. It's just been sitting up on the shelf, open, without its box, because I'm being reminded of it. And there's the back, by the way, just in case. And if you guys want to see me do a flip through of a deck, let me know, because I like doing those. I just don't want to overdo it. I like doing them because I can be in a video and not have my face in it, and I've been getting it perfectly clear, and you can see the cards really well. So I've got a system set up that I can do it really well. So I've taped a couple videos before taping this one. I'm not going to post them yet, but I wanted to do this video first because it's really important before I post those other videos to kind of give you, it's important to me anyways, to kind of give you a heads up on where I've been and a little bit of a story, and get a little bit more personal. So yeah, this is the Ghost Tarot. And most of the images are pretty dark in this deck. But I really like it. It's something different. When I get to that point with using tarot cards on a regular basis and being familiar with them. This one is amazing. It looks like the Magician. See, I don't know my numbers very well here. It looks like the Magician, but it's number 2. And the Magician is number 1. Come on, we all know that, right? I'm just gonna look in here and see how they're numbered. Oh no, that's not the Magician. They start at 0. I thought they might have started at 1, but no, they start at 0. So it does look like the Magician, but that's the High Priestess. It's pretty cool. I like that card. That's one of my favorite cards. And most of my decks that I have for tarot, I really like the High Priestess. I think that's my favorite card. I don't know why, but I showed it in my other video. I have the Steampunk Tarot. That image was the reason I bought the deck. It's gorgeous. Let me show it to you. This will be easier than actually finding it, but I have the bag for the Steampunk Tarot, and this is actually the image of the High Priestess right there. It's basically like a tarot reader giving a reading. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Those are my 3 decks that I purchased right before I took my little hiatus, but I have purchased 2 more decks within the last week. One of them I've already done an unboxing of. I've never done an unboxing before, but I recorded an unboxing and I'm going to upload that within the next few days whenever I upload this video. Like I said, this one's going to be first, give you a little heads up of what's going on, but I thought it was a good idea that I could record something and get back into the game without actually showing myself and being that vulnerable. So I just did those videos to get my confidence back, remembering how I started all of this, so it wasn't like my first video all over again. Thank you for watching. I am going to have my Tim Hortons coffee, and I am going to edit some videos, and I hope you guys... Oh, that reminds me, before I go, I have a question for you all. And I know you all do different techniques, but I wanted to know what you guys do to edit your videos. And I know a lot of people in the Tarot Oracle spiritual YouTube community set up your phone and then you just upload it. Maybe you'll put it on your computer, but you won't even edit the file and you'll just upload it. And obviously I don't do that because I like to chop stuff out because I'm crazy. But I wanted to know what programs you used when you do your editing. I'm using VideoPad right now. It's okay, I'm familiar with it, but it's not the best. It seems if I have a large clip that it lags when I get near the end of the clip if I've edited that clip too many times. So I don't know if there's something better that you guys use that is free, because we all know I can't pay for that kind of stuff right now or ever, because that's just ridiculous. So yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions on programs that I should use to edit videos, and let me know if you guys have any other ghost tarot or ghost oracle cards that you think I should look at, because I would be so excited to see those. I hope you all have a great day and look forward to the next couple videos that I'm going to be posting, and we'll see you next time.